What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Jayden Daniels podcast. 2 days away. We are 2 days away from the NFL draft. Pumped, excited, can't wait. Favorite 3 days of the year. It's our Super Bowl because our teams are never in the Super Bowl. All right, but
Hell
we got
yeah.
we got a big episode for you guys today. Finally, the last position rankings episode. Quarterbacks, our top 6 quarterbacks. Both of our rankings. I have a list. Jenks has a list. We don't know each other's list. It's gonna be different. I have a feeling it's going to be different, and I'm excited to get into it, break these guys down, and then tomorrow, on Wednesday morning, you guys are going to be getting our mock drafts to see where these quarterbacks are going to be, landed and be playing in the NFL next year. So let's get right into it.
Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast, bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of two die-hard fans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
And here we go!
Starting off my list at number 6, I got J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. And I know that's going to be a lot lower than a lot of people have J.J. McCarthy. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy was played at Michigan, and he was the standard plug-and-play quarterback. And that's kind of what a lot of people are going to term him coming into the NFL draft. And Hammer, I know we've talked about it a lot. I see him going possibly to the Vikings because, you put him in that system. He has a good weapon in Justin Jefferson already, TJ Hawkinson, a few other guys, Jordan Addison as well. And that's weapons that he needs. But I have him at 6 because, his numbers aren't insane. Obviously, they weren't a passing-led offense. And I think if you put him into a passing-led offense right into the NFL, instantly start, that's when it could possibly cause some issues. So I got him at number 6. He had 44 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 5,710 yards as a starter. And you compare that to some of these other guys in this list, and it's just a lot lower. So I got him at 6 on my list.
Okay, here we go. I got J.J. McCarthy at 3 on my list.
All the way up at 3. Wow.
All the way up at 3. I like J.J. Yeah, he doesn't have the athletic ability, the maybe like crazy talent like some of these other guys. He doesn't have the crazy numbers. Mm-hmm. But you know what? To me, I know the big knock on, is he didn't throw a lot at Michigan. He ran the ball. But, right, why did he go to Michigan? He went to Michigan to win. Did he win? Yes, he won. All right, knowing that he wasn't going to throw the ball a lot, I think that says a lot about his character. And when he did throw the ball, he was efficient. All right, he was good over the middle, which for me is a big trait for quarterbacks. I think if you can throw over the middle, I think you're going to be, if you could show that at college, I think that translates well to the NFL. I think, that's just a big trait that I like. All right, throwing over the middle. Some guys don't do as well, as throwing over the middle on this list. That's why you have them down the rankings. But you know what? He reminds me of he reminds me of Brock Purdy. Kind of like the system quarterback, but, he gets the job done. He's not going to play outside the offense. He's going to execute the offense. And, to a lot of people, he's not a first-round pick because of his talent and athletic ability and this and that. But in this NFL, I think if you could just have a quarterback that can really execute the offense at a high level, which is what he is capable of doing, that's a first-round pick. That's a franchise quarterback. He's going to get the job done for you. I'm not saying he's going to be, Superman. He doesn't have to become Superman like some of these other guys can. He could just do his job and execute at a high level. I think that's all you can ask for if you're an NFL organization, So I really like JJ, and I'm excited to see him throw a lot. In the NFL, he's gonna be throwing 25, 30 times a game, in some games, and I'm excited to see him kind of unlock his potential. So I like JJ. I think stay tuned for tomorrow for the mock draft. I think he's a top 3 pick. I like him a lot, and he's my number 3 quarterback.
Okay, so I agree with you. I think he's going to be a higher pick than my 5th and another guy in this list that I have. I think he will be a top 10 to 15. I think he goes possibly as low as 13. I think 13 is where the Broncos, that range. That's probably the lowest I see him going. Yeah, Vikings, Broncos, one of those teams. That's kind of the farthest I see him going. But I do think just in comparison to some of these guys' potential, I think he's at number 6.
Yeah, but one more thing about JJ, I like him. Michigan's offense was run, get to that third and medium, and it's JJ McCarthy time. And if you can, handle business as a quarterback, if you can handle business on third down, and take care of the football, which is what he did. I mean, what's not to like about that? So I like JJ, and let's move on to number 5.
Getting right into number 5, I got Bo Nix from Oregon. Obviously, this guy, his numbers tell a lot of the story for him. The last 2 years at Oregon, he started off at Auburn for 3 years. Then he came to Auburn, played there for 2 years. He is the oldest quarterback in any of these players of our top 6. He's 24 years old, just turned 24, so he's on the younger side of 24 at least. He had 74 touchdowns and 10 picks in the last 2 years, as well as 20 rushing touchdowns. So obviously production volume is very high for a 2-year player at Oregon. And I think that's going to do a lot of the talking for him when he comes to the NFL. Obviously, I think when it comes to Bo Nix, his confidence, he's very, very confident. But sometimes his confidence goes too far and obviously starts getting a little bit sloppy. And when he becomes sloppy, he loses that confidence. And I think if you put him directly into an NFL team and you instantly start him, he's one of those guys that he could lose that confidence and become a bust if he doesn't go to the right match for him in this draft. And I think that's a lot of we've seen that a few times with some of these quarterbacks the past few years. If they're not in the right spot for them, it's not a good place for either team. So I think Bo Nix needs to land in the right spot. Could be Denver. It could be. I don't necessarily see him going there, but I think that could be a good fit for him in this draft. And I don't see him really going in that early first round like we have a lot of these other guys. But I think potential-wise, if he goes in the top spot or in the good spot for him, that's why I got number 5, because I think he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, Bo Nix, right? And like you said, right? It matters where you go, right? And that's the case for every NFL draft prospect, especially quarterbacks. Landing spot is important. Who you have around you, your coaches, the city, this and that, all of that comes into play. So for Bo Nix, the big knock on him is short passing, right? That's all he does at Oregon, right? He doesn't really attack downfield, this and that. But, to your point, like you said, when you look at his numbers, he was highly efficient. The numbers speak for themselves. He's 24 years old, so, he's kind of the oldest quarterback on this list. Not kind of, he is. Teams like that, and they don't, right? They want a young guy who can play a lot of years in the NFL and be their franchise quarterback. But on top of that, hey, you do like a guy that's been a lot of places and has a lot of experience playing this game. I think, Bo Nix receives a little bit more hate than he deserves. I think, when he did attack downfield, he completed passes at a high rate, and he's not terrible. He's not bad over the middle. He's a little more athletic than people give him credit for. Like, he can run. He's pretty good, outside the pocket, throwing the run.
Yeah.
When he does get pressure in his face.
He's slower, but he's definitely not as scared to leave the pocket, like you said. So. Yeah,
definitely. So, Bo Nix landing spot-wise, I think the favorite is Denver, right? They're sitting kind of at, 11, 12 in the first round. I don't know. I think that's a little too high for Bo Nix when I think on most people's boards he's the 5th, 6th best quarterback in this draft. I think the smart move for Denver, if they really do like him, is, of course, trade down, pick up a early to mid second-round pick, and you take him there. But let's talk about why it's Denver. Why does Sean Payton? Why does Sean Payton? Why would he be attracted to a quarterback like this? It's because the same reason why he would like a quarterback like Jayden McCarthy. He wants someone that can run his offense at a high level. That's just going to play within the scheme, and that's like Bo Nix, Jayden McCarthy. Those are those two guys that can do that at least top quarterbacks. So, yeah.
Yeah, especially when it comes to, obviously we know he's not getting Caleb Williams. We know he's not getting a guy like Jayden Daniels or possibly even Drake Maye. But unless they trade up, those guys likely aren't available. So it's going to be between Bo Nix, Jayden McCarthy, really, for the Broncos. So at number 4, this is going to be a little bit controversial. I got Drake Maye from UNC. And I know a lot of people are going to say, how do you have him so low? But I think the guy that I have above him, obviously, has the production. And I think he's the most he is more NFL ready than Drake Maye. Drake Maye is a little bit younger. Drake Maye is 21, just turned 21, I think a month or two ago. So he's going to be younger on this draft out of these 6 guys. And he had 62 touchdowns, 16 picks, 7,929 yards in the last 2 seasons as a starter. after being redshirted his freshman year. So this guy, Drake Maye, Hammer, you've talked about it before, and Hammer and I have had the debate. What is the 3-point shot in football? What is the equivalent? And Hammer has said it's throwing over the middle. And Drake Maye loves to throw over the middle. He's confident with it. He will put the ball in the right spot. I think that's something that really needs to be talked about. But like I said, I think his age and his experience level has him at 4 for me versus these top 3 guys. But I think he can do a lot of good things in the NFL. I think he's going to be a top 5 pick. I don't really have much else to say. I like him. But like I said, that experience level and just honestly, I think the top 3 guys I just have a gut feeling about more than Drake Maye.
Yeah, I think so. Drake Maye, I think he's the first guy on this list that we talked about that's really boom or bust, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got the skill set, he's got the talent, but he does miss a lot of throws. There's a lot of good stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff. So can he clean it up? We'll see, right? It depends on landing spot. And I think this is a guy that, this is probably not going to happen. It should happen. But this is a guy that you sit for a year or two, and you let him develop within the offense and learn how to play, in the NFL as a young 21-year-old right now. That's the ideal situation for him. Is that going to be the case? Probably not. He's probably going to be a top 6 pick and get, forced to play at least, maybe starts on the bench and then mid-season, they put him in because they need a spark, and he probably gets screwed over like some of his other North Carolina quarterbacks, like Mitch and Sam Howell. So we'll see. I'm rooting for him. I like him a lot. Like I said, he's got the athletic ability. He can escape the pocket. He can make throws all over the field. He does miss some throws though. That, like Jenk said, get over the middle. And yeah, I like him a lot.
Where's he at in your list?
Oh yeah, he's 2. He's 2.
He's number 2 for Hammer.
He's 2 for me. Yeah, I think behind. I think we all know Caleb Williams. I think this is the, second best This is the next best quarterback with that athletic and talent, ability.
Who's your number 5? I don't know if you said.
We're not up to him yet.
No, number 5 for the last one. You didn't say, like I gave mine was Bo Nix. You didn't say who yours or your.
What do you mean?
Where was Bo Nix? Sorry, Bo Nix was number 6 for you, right?
Yeah, 6.
Okay, Bo Nix was 6. Then obviously Drake Maye, you have him at 2. Wow. Okay, so he's my 4. He's my 4. But I will say, I think a lot of people comp him to Justin Herbert, right? A guy that is very explosive in the NFL, and I think Justin Herbert, he obviously had some pretty quick explosiveness when it came to the NFL. He could be that kind of guy, or it could be a situation like Hammer said, if he gets put in the wrong spot, starts right away, could be a Zach Wilson type of situation. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Like, I think J.J. McCarthy's a safer pick than Drake Maye. Like, J.J. McCarthy's my number 3, Drake May's my 2. I think he's safer, but, like, the boom is just, it's bigger than, in my opinion, the safer quarterback in McCarthy. Like, I think it's worth that top, 3 pick. So, yeah, Drake Maye at 2 for me.
At number 3, I got my guy, my favorite quarterback of this draft, other than Caleb Williams. I know that's just, he's number 1. Like, that's not a surprise. Number 3 is going to be Michael Penix from Washington, a guy that has obviously played 4 years, I believe, at Indiana. Then he was hurt every single year, basically. He had injuries throughout, plaguing that 4 years. Then he came over to Washington and had 2 pretty healthy years, played 2 full seasons, and he came out with 67 touchdowns, 19 picks, 9,544 yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, those injuries plagued him, and that is a big thing when it comes to NFL. You're going to see that injury history, and obviously a lot of quarterbacks are going to wince, turn their heads to it, and I think that's going to tank his draft stock. Obviously, a lot of people have him in the second round. I think he could be a surprise top 15 pick, depending on where these quarterbacks land, if there's trades, things like that. NFL draft day is always a mystery when it comes to those sorts of things. With Michael Penix, though, his draft stock should be improved by his pro day, where he ran a 4.58 40, and he has a 9.75 RES score, which is extremely impressive for a quarterback like him who has had multiple ACL injuries. And he made that fast 40 time look like it was nothing. He basically looked like he jogged it, and he ran it still very quickly. When it comes to Michael Penix, though, I love his touch on the ball, and I love just where he puts the ball and anticipates the routes of the receivers. And on deep balls, he puts it where no one else can get it. And that's quarterback like that is something a lot of NFL teams are going to want. His cons, his release is definitely a little bit longer than you want to see, and it's a very awkward release compared to a lot of the prospects that have a little bit more fine-tuned. But I also like Michael Penix's IQ, and like I said, anticipation for the receivers is just, it's awesome for me, and I think he's going to do great things in the NFL as possibly a guy that does sit for a year and then starts after that.
Yeah, I like Michael Penix a lot. I'm probably like I like him. Like I'm rooting for him the most. Let's say that I'm rooting for him the most. I like him a lot. The cons about him, right? 23, a little bit on the older side. The injury history is just that scares NFL teams. That takes him off
Bad rap,
NFL
yeah.
draft boards. A lot of NFL draft boards. You know what? Like you said, right, would improve his draft stock. He threw really good at the combine. Pro day, he ran like crazy. I think he's a first rounder. Kind of in that middle round. I think a team like the Raiders makes a lot of sense. I would like to see him in Devontae.
I see that. Yeah.
Like you said, the release is a little awkward and long. He is a lefty too, so receivers are going to have to adjust to that. The one thing that I don't like is he's not an over the middle guy. He wasn't the best over the middle. He kind of struggled with that. So that kind of another negative kind of brings him down on my rankings. But you know what? I like the character. It came out today that when we're recording this on Monday that he sent like a letter to a whole bunch of NFL GMs about
Awesome.
why he's the guy. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty neat. Says a lot about him and his confidence. And yeah, I got my number 5 just because age, injuries, and he just doesn't really throw over the middle. He goes deep outside the numbers. And he had really good weapons at Washington, so that made him look a little bit better than he might be in the NFL. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Penix.
Yeah, and I'll say this really quickly.
Let me one more thing. My bad, Jinx.
Yeah, you go.
The one thing I would say about I think he's the biggest question mark for quarterbacks in this draft. I think we all know Williams, Maye, Daniels, and even McCarthy at this point are like top 10, top 15 picks lock. Mm-hmm. I think Bo Nix is leading towards a kind of second
later
round.
Second,
yeah, and Penix is just a mystery. I mean, he could go top 15 or he can go in the middle second round. So
yeah,
he's the biggest question mark. He's the biggest, we don't know. We don't know.
He's the biggest what if. Yeah, and I want to say this really quickly. He is a dream Saints pick for me. If we can get him, somehow he falls to you at 45 in the second round, I think the Saints have to take him. You take him, you sit him behind Derek Carr for a year or two, get him a little bit acquainted to the NFL, and you just put him in there with some great weapons with Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, a few other guys. It would be awesome. So we'll see what happens with Michael Penix in the NFL. And obviously, there's only 2 guys left, and we all know who number 1 is. So number 2 is going to be Jayden Daniels, the Heisman winner from last year. Probably the most explosive at any chance, at any moment kind of guy in this draft at the quarterback position. A guy that reminds me of Lamar Jackson. A guy, obviously, I'm saying that because when he's running the ball, you have no clue what's going to happen. He could go for a 60-yard touchdown or he could get rocked because there's a few plays where he doesn't know where to go down and he gets lit up. And I think that's definitely a con for him coming in the NFL. But when it comes to Jayden Daniels, the guy is 6'4", so he has the height as well as the speed. And he's, I believe, 210 pounds, and he's 23 years old. So he has some experience in the college football realm. He played 4 out of 5 full seasons. So 5 seasons in the NCAA. He played 4 full seasons, 89 touchdowns, 20 picks, 12,750 yards with 40 rushing touchdowns and 4 picks in the last season where he won the Heisman. So crazy, stupid numbers and 34 rushing touchdowns as well. I think when it comes to Jayden Daniels, obviously teams are going to talk about he had 2 of the best receivers in this draft class on his team to throw to at any given moment. Teams had to, cover those guys and then worry about him running. So him running was like the second threat. So he had that availability in a good amount of games against teams that weren't as great. And then when they did play the better teams, obviously he still had did a pretty damn good job, but he wasn't as useful. But a guy like Jayden Daniels, obviously number 2 for a great reason. He's explosive, and I think, like I said, he could be the next Lamar Jackson. Teams are going to want that in the NFL. A team, I think, I'm just going to come out and say it, and I think a lot of people have already picked it. He's going to go to the Commanders at number 2, in my opinion, just because that's such a good fit for a team that is needing that young quarterback that brings life to the offense, that can hit their weapons like he did in LSU. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, and obviously Brian Robinson Jr. as the running back. He can hit these guys and hit them when they're open, anticipate the throws. And a guy like this that can also run would be explosive for that Commanders team. So I love Jayden Daniels, having him at number 2.
I got Jayden Daniels at number 4 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Tell
let
me
me
why,
explain why. I think he's another one, like Drake Maye, boomer bust, right? I think he's been really good, or it's not going to work out. He's a little bit on the older side at 23 years old, but he is younger than, Penix, who is 23 as well. Had an amazing year, right? Heisman, but he did have a pretty damn good supporting cast. One of the best in college football.
He did.
We got 2 receivers that are going the first round. He's not going to have that in the NFL, especially if he goes to the Commanders or the Patriots at 2-3. If he goes to Minnesota, they trade up for him, then he might with Addison and Jefferson, but he's not going to have that same receiving core, right? It's going to be a little different. Amazing athlete, as you could see on the tape. He's got, a cannon, great touch, and he can run away from guys.
Real quick, Hammer. I just want to. I forgot to mention this when I was talking about his weapons. They added Austin Eckler, the almost 30-year-old running back from the Chargers. So.
Washed up. Why is he at number 4, Hammer? He's not good over the middle. I'm just gonna take him down a little bit if they're not that good over the middle. Because to me, I just think you look at the top quarterbacks in the league, the really good ones, the successful ones, they're really good over. They're good over the middle. Yep. He's not good over the middle. He only 17% of his throws went over the middle the past 2 years. That's pretty crazy. That's
crazy.
A
low number. Yeah.
That is crazy. He's got good touch on deep throws, like I said. Another thing is he takes dumb hits. He takes stupid, dumb hits. And when you're 23 years old, a little bit older of a prospect, you've played more football than some of these other quarterbacks, you would think he would have the IQ to slide or get out of bounds. No, he takes dumb, stupid hits, like jumping into the air, like not protecting himself, and he gets blown up. And injuries are gonna happen because of that. Look at Anthony Richardson. Same thing happened to him. Anthony Richardson did not know
RG3 happened to as well.
He doesn't know how
a while back.
Yeah, Richardson didn't know how to slide, and it hurt him. As you can see, he was out for the entire year, basically. So that's what I don't like about Jayden Daniels.
All right, at number 1, everyone knows who it's going to be. Caleb Williams from USC. Obviously, he's going to be the number 1 pick to the Bears. It's going to happen. There's not going to be a surprise pick there. Caleb Williams at number 1, a guy that in 3 seasons, had 10,082 yards, 93 touchdowns, and only 14 picks. And a guy that crushed my heart. I'm an OU fan. He balled out for us as a freshman and then left with Lincoln Riley. So that sucked, but going to accept it. I think Caleb Williams is going to be a dog in the NFL. Obviously, there's some questions regarding, he's the most, I'm going to say he's the most, I'm trying to think of how to say it. He is the most unique quarterback in the prospects, as he does whatever the hell he wants. He improvises plays. He throws off one foot. He throws with the bad base, and it still works. He throws across his body, across the middle, when he's running the opposite direction, finds the open man. He does crazy things, but he makes it work. And I think that's something that a lot of people love watching. And in the NFL, it might not work as much, but I think he's going to be able to improve basically in that regard and still make plays that just shock everyone. On top of that, there's a lot of questions regarding, his personality of he might be a diva, just kind of doing his own thing. There was questions regarding, he wants stock in the team that he goes to. He wants ownership. He wants this. He wants that. That's all just question marks. I don't know if any of that's true. I don't really think it matters. I really don't. Wherever he goes, he's going to play his heart out. He's going to go there to win games. So Caleb Williams is obviously number 1, and I'm not going to add too much more because he's been talked about for the last, 6 months now in the NFL atmosphere. So that's Caleb Williams for you.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, the future Bear. Um, he's the best quarterback prospect since I would say Andrew Luck. I think you can argue Trevor
Yeah.
Lawrence, but like he's that guy, once in a generation, like
Joe Burrow,
every
maybe.
10 years, whatever, type of player. He could do everything, as you could
Mhm.
say. He's got a play style of Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes, right? As he said, like he looks up to Rodgers. That he was a fan of Rodgers, the Packers, like, and you can kind of see it in his game, and even more because he's even more a little bit more athletic than Rodgers. Like Jenks said, the character is a question.
Mhm.
I mean,
It
I
doesn't
don't
really
know
matter.
when a guy has this ability though. I think
No one cares.
the character is serious, but you kind of just put it in the back pocket and whatever. Um, he's a boomer bust guy, of course. I mean, the stuff that he was doing in college, I mean, it's just crazy stuff. It's like Johnny Manziel. So, I mean, is he going to have the same play style and do all this in the NFL against really good competition week in and week out, week in and week out? Like, I don't know. Maybe we'll see, I mean, if there's one organization to screw it up, it's the Bears. But
Exactly.
honestly, I hope Caleb Williams is good. I really do. I want like good competition in my division. Like, the Lions are good, we're good. The Bears made a lot of good moves. If they can get the quarterback right, they're going to be good. The Vikings, they made a lot of good moves. If they can get the quarterback right, they're going to be good. I want a good competitive division because I want every weekend to feel like a playoff game. Because if you're playing all these good teams during the regular season, it's going to make the playoffs just a little bit easier, if all these other games are like playoff games too. So I want them to be good, not too good, but good. And yeah, I'm excited to go against them next week. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. Real quick, my 6 quarterbacks: 6, Bo Nix; 5, Michael Penix; 4, Jayden Daniels; 3, J.J. McCarthy; 2, Drake Maye; and 1, Caleb Williams. Jenks?
Yeah, Jenks, as for mine, it was 6. I got J.J. McCarthy. I know, it's low. 5, Bo Nix. 4, Drake Maye. 3, Penix. 2, Jayden Daniels. 1, Caleb Williams. I think both of our lists are very based off different things. Hammer's a little bit of a mix. Mine's based on kind of potential and where I see these guys kind of ending up in the NFL and career-wise. And I think they're solid lists. I'm going to get more hate. Obviously, I know that, but I'm confident in my take.
Yeah. So, of course, this was a little bit different than what we usually do. So, comment down below if you liked it. If Jenks, said his guy, then I said my guy and where he is on my list while showing highlights. If you like that style, just comment below. We appreciate the feedback. And that's going to do it for this episode. This was a fun, good episode. And tomorrow will be the mock drafts. Excited to do that one. Jenks is going to do one. I'm going to do one. We need to hear your thoughts. What was the biggest surprise? Who's got the better mock? And, it's right around the corner. Thursday night, 8 o'clock.
It is.
Can't wait. And Jenks, closing thoughts?
2 days away. That's going to be like Christmas morning for everyone on Thursday. I'm excited as a Saints fan. My mock draft, I'm excited for tomorrow. I put a lot of thought into it. Going to start tonight, possibly. Finish it throughout the day before we record. I'm excited.
And one question. Out of the quarterbacks that we went over today, how many go in the first round in your mock that you think?
It'll probably be 5.
Yeah, I'm going 5 too.
The mock is so tough because I don't really want to do trades. I feel like trades are so unpredictable. It's tough to kind of do a trade. I think it would change a lot. But I'm gonna do no trades on my mock. I know Hammer might do a couple. I'm gonna do no trades. Try to just kind of pick.
I'm gonna do trades.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna pick who I think each team picks at their spot they're currently slotted at. So I'm gonna go 5 for now.
All right. I'm going to go 5 too. But yeah, we'll see how it pans out tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So comment down below whose list you like better, what quarterback you think's got the best upside, who's going to be dog crap in the NFL. We want to hear it. Very interested. It's, it's a really loaded quarterback class. Even the guys that we have 6, like Penix or Bo Nix or J.J. McCarthy, pretty damn good compared to, previous drafts. And the 6th quarterback in that draft when it's like a Desmond Riddler, this is a good class for quarterbacks. It's deep. So, yeah. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jenks Hammer Pod. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Jenks Hammer Podcast. If you're watching YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow for the mock draft. Let's get it.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Jenks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat and go Pack Go!